Hey Hunter, I've been asking both Sadi and Jed about Kobe's growth, so I wanted to ask you too. How have you seen his game kind of grow these last couple of years?
I mean, obviously, being with Kobe for 2 years now, it's been great to see how far he's come from the young 17-year-old kid that got here in the summer last year. I think for me, seeing him as a teammate, just his willingness to get better defensively. I think that's an area that not a lot of young kids want to like really dedicate a lot of their time to. It's not a sexy part of your game to work on defense and guarding people, but for him to be able to take that step and have that growth mindset of just trying to get better in the area that he needed the most was really really special to see, and just that the growth that he's taken from last year to this year. I think this the confidence to be able to be that two-way player offensively and defensively. I feel like it's just made him so much more confident offensively, and it's crazy how that works. But I think as he continues to grow and continue to want to be the best defender, it's just going to be make him even more confident offensively.
Hunter, hey, for someone who wasn't at the last couple of games with football, can you explain how you go from losing to Central to beating Maryland by as much as you did?
Yeah, I think it was one of those situations where we were playing like we played that Maryland game like we had just lost to Central Michigan. I think it's cliche to say that, but like, we were playing desperate. We were playing like you know we need to turn this around very fast, or the season can go downhill. And so for us, we knew that the reason why we lost to Central Michigan was we just got outplayed and out hustled. And so going into the Maryland game, we were like, we're gonna try to give it our all right here. We had different types of meetings, amongst the team, amongst just the players, and different types of just talks about how we need to go through the rest of the season. And I think you know there was like a heart to heart with the team where it's like like we obviously have the talent. We've shown that in the games. Like people, like if you really want to look at it, like if 10 or so points go different ways, like we could be, I think, what is that? We could be like honestly like 12-1 right now. Like if just a couple points went certain ways, and like we're not that bad. Like we're not as bad as the 8-5 record shows. Like we had games where we just kind of just folded at the end. And so for us, we got to keep that in mind when we're going into these games. Like we're talented, we're a very talented team. It's just a matter of, are we going to come out and bring it offensively? Are we going to bring it defensively? Are we going to play as a team? Are we going to do our assignments? Are we going to follow the game plan? I think it's just a matter of us not beating us out there.
Gotcha. And this can't be easy, or else I guess you do it every game. But like, how can you try to then bottle that, game after game, instead of course, needing the actual, the loss to, kind of make you play that way?
Yeah, I would say I think that's something that's like misconstrued. It's like there's no way to bottle that kind of, like there's no way to bottle that type of energy from a
Mhm.
game to game basis. I think it's just I would say a daily like mirror check. Like you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, yo, like I got to bring it this game. I got to go out there and do everything the coaches are telling me to do, everything that my role is at like required for me. I think it's more of a, look in the mirror before the game, like, yo, I got to bring it, and I got to do this, and I got to, commit to being great every play, rather than like trying to continue the success. Cause it's like, I think for us right now, we're still trying to build the habits of being a great team. I don't think we have the habits yet. Like we've shown flashes of it, but they aren't habits. And so for us, we're still, because we're so young, like we're still trying to figure out, each other, and people are still trying to figure out what it's like to play Division 1 basketball at a high level. So there's still that kind of learning stage, and great for us that the season doesn't end for another 3 months, and so we have time to get better and stuff like that. But for us, just trying to build the habits of winning and getting better each and every day.
Hunter, you
Thanks.
mentioned a couple times, you guys don't feel like you're as bad as you are, or your record says, excuse me. Do you think it was important for the younger players for that kind of wake up call, renewed effort to really work as well as it did Sunday, just so that, I guess, I mean, obviously I'm sure they believe it to some degree, but to like really see it in a game that, hey, if you do this, this, and this, it really pays off?
Yeah, I think it was good for me too, in a sense. Like, even though that I'm one of the older guys on the team, and knowing that's a long season, I think it was, a great reassurance for me as well, knowing that I knew it, but just to see it out there and happen the way it happened, where it's like we're up 17-0, we're up 21-4. It's late in the first half and they only have 7 points. Like, it was really great to see how dominant we can be, and I'm sure it really rubbed off on the team. And it was a great, like you said, like, it was really great for the younger guys to see like we can be a great team. Like, we can be a dominant team if we just do the things that the coaches are asking, if we do the things that, the habits that we've been trying to build since we got here in July. Like, the stuff works. We just got to commit fully into doing it every time, all the time. And that's something it's extremely hard, but when it's done, it's extremely effective.
Yeah, Hunter, also hoping you could maybe just a little more peel back sort of the curtain on that players only meeting. Like, did that happen right after Central Michigan that same day? Was it the next day? Was it your idea? How did it come about?
I would say it was Jason's idea. It was the day after the game in the morning. It was just like I feel like people didn't really know what to expect out of it because, I don't think we've had one. We might have had one similar to last year, or similar to this one last year, but I don't think it was like as, I guess, not like emotional, but like, I would say like heartfelt. Like, it was like, I feel like guys in the locker room really, had a look in the mirror with themselves, and then, we're trying to really give constructive criticism to, the rest of the team. We just basically went around and, tried to, I would say, just try to be as open and just tell like it is as possible, because it's like you're not going to get anything accomplished if you're trying to, beat around the bush with things and like trying to save people's feelings and stuff like that. Like, you just gotta tell it like it is, honestly. Like, we're all like 18 and over. Like, at this point, you're considered an adult. And so for us, you got to have that heart to heart with, somebody that you call your brother. If they take it personal and they take it the wrong way, then that's on them. Like, everybody should realize that the people in the locker room only want the best for each other. And we only want to see each other succeed, because when we're all succeeding individually, then the team's going to succeed as a whole. So I think it was just a really good heart to heart with people, with themselves, but also amongst the teammates, that I think, you were able to see kind of that emotion that we had in the locker room out on the court.
Does anybody have anything else for Hunter?
Hunter, I wanted to ask you about defense. A lot of coaches like to say that the steepest learning curve from high school AAU to college is on the defensive side. I'm just curious your thoughts on what you think makes that true. And when you have a young team, what can be done to make sure that learning curve is met sooner instead of, end of the season?
Yeah, I would say that's definitely true. I think the biggest thing to that is probably because of the talent level that players aren't used to. I would say the closest thing to, high Division I basketball is playing on the EYBL, because it's like you're playing, like, there's 5 Division I basketball players on the floor at all times, and there's not really anything close to that. Like, even in the WCAC, where it's like the best league in the country, in my opinion, and I feel like that's, not like that's not crazy to say, but like, even though there are some games between like Paul VI and Gonzaga where there's 10 Division I guys on the floor at all times, like, there's some games where it's like other teams might only have like 2 other Division I players. And so when you're coming from high school, sometimes you're able to play against opponents and you're able to basically have an off night defensively where it's like, as long as you're like, you can even get beat like on back doors and stuff like that, and it doesn't really matter. But here on the Division I stage, it's like everybody earned, like when we play Penn State tomorrow, each one of those players earned a scholarship to the university. Like, no, it's not the university, Penn State University. So each one of those players earned a scholarship to Penn State. And so it's like they're a highly skilled individual and they have talent just like you. And so for them going in, that was something that I had to learn, my freshman year. It's like when we're playing Purdue or Rutgers, it's like those players earn Division I scholarships to those universities. Like they're good too. And so you don't really have an off night. Like you have to go in thinking like, yo, I got to defend every possession my hardest, because if I slip up, that player is a Division I basketball player. They can score, even though they might not be like a featured player on the team, they're still a Division I basketball player and they're still able to score if you give them the chance. So that's something that players, especially young players, have to realize. It's like, I have to play this possession and I can't relax, because if I relax, then a player who isn't high on the scouting report, even though he might be, somebody who like isn't emphasized as much, they can still affect the game. And when they affect the game, that's really bad, because, you're hoping to take those kind of players out of the game.
Anybody else?
I got one.
Go ahead, Clayton.
Okay. Hunter, we were just talking to Sadi about this too, with Penn State, a little bit of a smaller team. And he was saying, well, they have to guard us too in your size and everything. But what's it like for you when you're out on the perimeter, guarding, guys that can shoot and everything like that? And have you gotten better at that with experience over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I definitely have gotten better with it. I take it more as a challenge now. I think, when I was a freshman and definitely in high school, when teams would try to play 5 out, like Penn State will probably do some of next game, I would kind of just relax and, try to go through the motions. But I know in this game coming up, like they're going to try to, work their offense around me and try to, put me in spots where I can be exposed. But, it's a challenge that is fun to me, because it's almost like a new type of game. You get so used to playing big men. You're in the post the whole time. So it's going to be a new kind of game for me, and it'll be a fun little challenge for me to, guard on the perimeter. It's been fun, with all the different coverages we have. We're, exploring all options with switching, hedging, drop coverage, all different types of stuff. So, we got a full arsenal of, defensive coverages going into the next game. But like Sadi said, you can't get too focused on the 5 out, because they're going to have to try to guard us on the other end as well. So I think that's going to be a good chess match between us and Penn State, and hopefully we're able to win that medal.
Tony, you want to close us out?
Yeah, that was a pretty good start. I was just wondering, Penn State thoughts in general. I think that was a good start, but others.
I've talked about this on my podcast. I'm a really big fan of Coach Shrewsbury. Like, I think he's one of the best offensive minds in the country. I've nothing but great things to say about him. Like, I'm a big fan of him. I will say he didn't have me as a Curry closeout. So they do, I guess, their scout report is like, they have levels. I think it's like a Rondo closeout, somebody who can shoot, and then another type of closeout, and then a Curry closeout, it's like a shooter. And I was kind of heartbroken to realize that I'm not a Curry. I wasn't a Rondo either, so like it wasn't disrespectful, but I wasn't a Curry. So during the Big Ten Media Day, I asked them, I was like, Coach, man, what's it going to take for me by the time we play you to be a Curry closeout? I think it's like, you got to shoot like 40% on 2 attempts, but I'm not there yet, so I probably won't be. But Penn State's a really good team. They got Pickett, the head of the snake, who is obviously a great player. He's averaging damn near a triple double, and that's super impressive in itself. But I think they got a really good, just old team. Like, they're starting senior, grad senior, and then a freshman. But then, they're bringing in a grad senior off the bench as a 6-man. So they're a really experienced older team that's going to, really test our habits and test our willingness to be bought into the game plan in detail. So I think it'll be a great challenge for us, and it's going to be a big test for us because if we go into this game and we win, we're 3-0, we're first in the Big Ten. We got a lot of momentum going into a big weekend for us. So this is a really important game coming up versus a really good team.
Okay, Hunter, we appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow, my friend.
All right, thanks, Tom.